Yo, how's everyone doing today? It's RedCooteay, and today I'm going to be doing my first 2024 NBA mock draft. It is way too early in the cycle, as the college season has not even started yet, but I figured we might as well just dive right on in. I asked if you're new here, you can please subscribe to the channel, drop a like, comment your thoughts, and the last thing that I want to say before we get into our selections is that this is not necessarily the order that I would take the players in. My big board differentiates a lot from this. I think we're going to see a lot of different opinions on this year's pool of prospects, but this is more so what I think could happen or what I think will happen at this point. The order for the picks is just the reverse predictions, so don't take it out on me, just the predictions. So if you think that your team is worse than where they're selecting here or better than where they're selecting here, it's just the predictions. But without further ado, with the first overall pick, I'm going to have the Washington Wizards selecting Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr is one of the most intriguing prospects in the class of 2024. He is a long and mobile big man standing at 7'1". He's going to be playing for the Perth Wildcats this season. The biggest appeal with Alex Sarr is his two-way potential. He's a versatile defender, able to protect the rim at a very high rate. When he gets switched onto a perimeter player, if the other team is, running something like a pick and roll, he holds his own. He shifts his hips very well and stays attached to the defenders at all time. Offensively, he's a very good play finisher, has long arms, and he's displayed some touch and some stretch potential. As you can see here, he's going to hit a three-pointer at the top of the key in this play, but as of right now, he doesn't create too much offense for himself, but he's definitely shown some flashes of it. So if he can put it all together, I think the Washington Wizards would love to have someone like him as their starting center right now is Daniel Gafford. So with the second overall pick, I'm going to have the Houston Rockets selecting Ron Holland, a forward out of the G League Ignite. Ron Holland is a 6'8" forward that's going to be playing for the G League Ignite this year. He's a very good athlete with a super high motor. He's a versatile defender that's improving on the offensive end. He has displayed a pretty good handle, as you can see right there with the G League Ignite so far. He's super hard to guard in transition, and my biggest concern with him right now is just his self-creation in the half court. He still needs to improve as a jump shooter, although he has shown flashes of improvement in that regard in these few games that he has played with the G League Ignite. But as you can see right here, like I said, hard to guard in transition, flying down the court, dunking on the defender. I think that if he can continue to improve his self-creation in the half court, there's no reason why he won't be a top 3 pick in this upcoming NBA draft. And then with the third overall pick, I'm going to have the Portland Trailblazers selecting Matas Buzelis, a wing out of the G League Ignite. Matas Buzelis is a crafty 6'10" wing or forward out of the G League Ignite. Buzelis has a good combination of size and skill, although I think he projects best as a secondary creator at the next level. A lot of people want to put the guard label on Matas, but I definitely don't think that's the case yet, even though he does have plenty of guard-like skills. With the ball in his hands, Buzelis plays a bit upright and stiff, lacking elite burst or quickness, which does hurt his ability to create space or blow by the defender. But despite all of that, Buzelis is a skilled shooter that can create his own shot at all times thanks to his combination of creativity and size. He's also a pretty solid athlete, as you can see right here as he gets up for the dunk. With the fourth overall pick, I'm going to have the Detroit Pistons selecting a guard out of USC, Isaiah Collier. Collier is a strong and athletic 6'4" guard that does a great job getting his teammates involved. Collier gets downhill well and is able to finish above or below the rim. Collier excels in the pick and roll and is able to throw a variety of impressive passes. The biggest area that Collier needs to improve is his consistency with his jump shot and from the free throw line. With the fifth overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets select Aday Mara, a big man out of UCLA. Mara is a player that I'm a tad lower on than the consensus right now, but his upside is undeniable. The 7'3" big man has a great combination of size and feel, and because of this, is a great passer for his size. Thanks to his size, Mara is a good scorer near the rim, scoring in the dunker spot, and as a roller effectively. Mara has shown some flashes of shooting touch, but he still has a ways to go for me to be a true believer in his shot. The biggest concerns with Mara have to do with his mobility and athleticism. Mara lacks quickness and vertical pop, which means when scoring at the rim, he is more so relying on his size than his athleticism. The lack of quickness concerns me as it brings up many questions regarding his ability to hold his own when guarding the pick and roll and other offensive actions. With the sixth overall pick, the San Antonio Spurs select my favorite player in the draft class, Stephon Castle, a combo guard out of UConn. The 6'6" combo guard is one of my favorite players in this class, and I believe him to be in contention for the number 1 pick as of right now, but at this point many others project him more so in this range. One of the first things that stands out in Castle's game is that he is always playing at his own pace. Although Castle lacks elite burst, he is a smooth and fluid athlete that is able to get to the rim often thanks to his combination of positional size, patience, and creativity. Once at the rim, Castle draws fouls at an unbelievable rate, which is a great indicator for a young guard. When it comes to his playmaking, that is one of the most exciting aspects of his game. Being able to see over the defense, Castle is a quick processor, and he is able to execute a variety of impressive passes such as kickouts, lobs, skip passes, and more. It would be nice to see Castle be a little bit more consistent from beyond the arc, but playing alongside Victor Wembanyama would open up and simplify the game even more for the both of them. So with the 7th overall pick, we got the San Antonio Spurs up here again, but this pick is via the Toronto Raptors, and I'm going to have them selecting Justin Edwards, a wing out of Kentucky. Edwards is a 6'7" left-handed wing with 3-and-D potential. Edwards is a bit older for a freshman, as he is already older than some of the sophomores in this class, but Edwards is a good athlete that can play on or off the ball and can provide the Spurs with another scoring punch on the wing. On the defensive side of the ball, Edwards is always giving effort and has good tools to become a versatile defender in the league. Kentucky will be one of the most fun teams for scouts to watch this year. With the 8th overall pick, the Orlando Magic select Donovan Clingan, a center out of UConn. I apologize for not using UConn film here. I'm just not too sure what I'm allowed to use or not. But Clingan didn't get too many minutes his freshman season, but when he did, man oh man, he made the most of his minutes. Clingan is one of the best shot blockers and drop coverage defenders in this class, with great defensive instincts and unreal size at 7'2" and reportedly up to 285 pounds. When you hear this, you may think there's no way he's mobile, but he's actually much more mobile than you would think. Clingan's sheer size allows him to score efficiently in the paint as a roller or a lob threat. Playing alongside Stephon Castle and a talented UConn team again this year should help Clingan showcase his defensive ability to NBA scouts. If you are curious about Donovan Clingan, I do suggest looking up some of his UConn film, because he's improved over what you can see here in these clips. With the 9th overall pick, the Utah Jazz select Garwey Dual, a guard out of Providence. Garwey Dual is a name that most mainstream media hasn't caught on to yet, but if you know, you know. The 6'5" guard has an insane wingspan near 7 foot and is an amazing athlete. Dual is one of the best advantage creators in this draft and has great two-way ability, turning defense into offense often. It would be nice to see Dual showcase a more refined scoring ability in the half court with more jumpers, but his rim pressure, playmaking ability, disruptive defense, and insane tools may be enough for him to be a high-end pick without displaying an improved jumper. And for a Jazz team lacking elite guard play, Garwey Dual could be a perfect fit next to Keontae George for their futures. Via the Brooklyn Nets, with the 10th overall pick, the Houston Rockets select Izan Almansa, a forward out of the G League Ignite. Almansa is one of the most decorated players in this year's NBA draft with an impressive international resume, but this year the 6'10" forward will be playing for the G League Ignite alongside some other high-end prospects. Almansa is a two-way connective forward with great feel. Almansa doesn't create too much offense for himself right now, but is a great play finisher and has shown the ability to whip some impressive passes to his teammates. There have been some flashes of touch from Almansa, but he isn't quite an outside threat yet, although he may be an ideal glue piece for a team. The 11th overall pick, the Indiana Pacers select DJ Wagner, a guard out of Kentucky. Wagner was one of the highest ranked recruits in his high school class. The shifty 6'3" guard has lightning quick speed and creates his own shot well, gets downhill with ease. Wagner is a bit undersized and not necessarily a true point guard, but his shot creation ability and athleticism should have him in the lottery. Wagner displays a good in-between game and is a solid three-point shooter. Playing for the Pacers, Wagner would play a backup role where he could provide an offensive spark for the team. The 12th overall pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Tyrese Proctor, a guard out of Duke. Proctor is a 6'5" sophomore guard out of Duke. With the Pelicans already having so many talented scorers, I think they look for their future point guard in Tyrese Proctor. Proctor has good positional size and is a creative playmaker and a skilled shooter. Proctor is expected to have a breakout season this year at Duke and will be able to showcase more of his scoring ability, but Proctor is a natural leader that plays a very smooth game and would help this Pelicans team play at an up-tempo speed. Bringing in Proctor would team him up with fellow Australian guard Dyson Daniels. With the 13th overall pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select point guard out of North Carolina, Elliot Cadeau. Cadeau is probably the best passer and playmaker in this class. Cadeau's feel is absurd, and he's a very unselfish player, always doing what he can to get everybody involved. Standing at 6'1", the biggest concern in Cadeau's game is his lack of size, and this could be what makes him fall on draft night. He's a very good athlete that has shown that he can put defenders on posters despite his lack of size. Cadeau isn't just a playmaker though, and he will continue to display his ability to score when needed this season at UNC. Cadeau alongside Anthony Edwards could easily be one of the most exciting backcourts of the future. And to wrap up the lottery with the 14th overall pick, I have the New York Knicks via the Dallas Mavericks selecting Cody Williams, a wing/forward out of Colorado. Cody Williams is an athletic and lanky 6'8" forward with great tools and a high ceiling. Williams has a bit of an unorthodox game, and some of his movements can seem awkward, but he's always able to make it work. Williams makes an impact on both ends of the floor and is hard to stop in transition. Currently in a half-court setting, Williams projects best as a connective piece, but he has shown the ability to get to the rim well and attack shifting defenses. Cody moves well off the ball, and if he can display a more refined offensive game, he could fly up boards. Cody is the brother of Oklahoma City's Jalen Williams. So that wraps up the lottery, and that's all we're going to be taking care of today. Some names that I think could be in the lottery are Kel'el Ware, Nikola Topic, and a few others. If the name isn't on here, I may have them in my lottery, but I just don't believe that the consensus has them in the lottery right now. Like I said, this mock draft wasn't necessarily what I would do, more so what I think could happen if the draft were to happen way too early. But thank you guys all for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I have my Twitter in my bio if you guys want to go check that out. I'm going to be putting a bunch of NBA draft content on there, a bunch of Oklahoma City Thunder content on there. I'm going to be putting a big board out relatively soon, going into the season 2024 NBA draft big board. And so I thank you all for watching. Everybody have a good rest of your day. Peace out.